Hi everyone, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Feeling a little bit bunged up today, and I have spent most of the day on the sofa watching Strictly because I've been catching up. And but I thought, can't just waste the day, so I thought I'd get this done, which was on my to-do list today. So you might remember this journal that I did a flip through. And I showed you in another video how I created the cover. I mean, I did recreate it in a different colour. I've gone sort of, it's still quite junky and grungy, but more of the purples come out in this one, which I quite like. So I filled this with ephemera that I had already made and paper that I've just got in my stash. So I thought I thought I'd show you how I kind of select paper, and yeah, that's what I thought I'd do. Not really much thought, which is really what I do. It's not really much thought. So I've got a few paper bags, so I wasn't sure which one I might use with this, so I brought out a selection. I bought these in packs, so I've got about 50, I think, of each of those. And this, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Sneezing a good blow. This one was, I think we bought postcards on holiday, and I was like, yeah, paper bag. So yeah, I'm not sure which one I'll use of those. That is red cabbage dyed paper, avocado dyed paper. This is just some paper I've ripped out of a pad. I like the ripped edge. Coffee dyed doily. This was teal coffee dyed paper, and then I've sprayed it with some purple ink. So yeah, I've got a white doily because I'm not sure. These are some of my collage sheets that I printed out when my printer was running out of ink. So it's got this purple tinge to it. I thought that might be quite nice. That is, I found an airmail pad. Quite like blues in it, an old graph paper. This is from the very first junk journal that I did. I coffee dyed a load of paper, so this was a piece of graph paper, and I put a doily in it, and I thought that would probably be the right size. I've got to trim it down to sort of 10 inches long, so that would actually be a nice page, I thought. And then I've got some of this lovely parchment paper that's 25% cotton, and I thought I might print something on it. In this journal, I think it's the centre pages, I've printed I've printed a document on it. It's not the centre pages, Jez. Yes, it is. It's the other half of the centre pages. It's on different parchment paper. This isn't the same parchment paper, but I thought that was quite a nice touch, so I thought I might do that again. Liked that. And this is a recent book I bought at charity shop. I liked the colours of this, and I don't think everything has to be necessary to coffee or vegetable dyed. I think sometimes a bit of white in it works out well. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Now, the paper for each page, I'm going to have to remind myself of the size. I can't remember at all. I'm not even going to attempt. It's about 6.5 inches tall, and yeah, 10 inches long to give us a 5-inch page. Should be about right. So what did I say? 6.5 by 10, Jez. That's what you said. I'll be inclined to print that one first before I cut it down, but I can cut the others down. So on this one, I want to get most of that doily, so we don't want to cut it all off. So let's take a bit off that side. I'm going to lose the length, I know. And on that side there. Yeah, liking that. I could actually just fold it up and make a pocket. Oh, cooking on gas, Jez, cooking on gas. 10.5 inches. So do a bit of a score there. Actually, I could go that way, so I've got a bit of doily. on there. Liking that. And then that. Folded half there. That's the page. Oh, yes, like that. I'll probably cut the bulk out from the middle there. Got all sorts of stuff on there. No, I like that. That'll be nice. And I did, in this book, I used some music paper and I sewed around it. And I'm kind of liking that as an idea. So I might very well do that. Just thoughts. Right, need to have another good blow. Oh, this is going to be fun and games with me stopping and starting, but hey ho. So I am going to remind myself how many pages I did actually get in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, call that 9, 10. So I actually did 10 sheets. I think I've pulled out more than 10. So I'm going to keep that as the centre. So I think I'm going to cut this down to 6.5. So creating some scraps. And it's going to be 5 inches wide. Could do a little flip out instead of just so we've got just a little bit of something else, something different, creating interest. I might change my mind. Of course, what I've got to be mindful of is that you will trim a bit off. So if I want to keep that as it is, it'll have to be one of the early pages. Because there you can see already with that in there, that middle one protrudes out a bit, and that's what happens, you trim off. So as this is folded that way, this will have to be an early page. So this one obviously is not going to be as long. I'll trim that end off because there's a little bit of a corner curl there. How many pages have we got there so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I did 10 in the other one. So, but I think I've got 4 books that I want to explore. And I've not counted doilies or bags. I've got some scraps. So, and I've got that I was going to use as well. So sometimes I pull out pages and then I don't use them. Right, so I thought let's have some map. So I've got this old map book. It's called The New Illustrated Atlas of the World. Bought this fairly recently. Oxfam, it was £1.99. It's got these lovely, I like having plain bits, and I liked this page here. I thought that's a nice sheet that can be used. It's not old, 63, so older than me, so it's not that old. And it's got maps of different colours, and I thought let's find one that's a bit purpley. So at the back, I've got these great pictures at the back from the world, which I quite liked. use those in things. But it's then got these. So it has got some purpley mattes. That one's got a little bit more, well, sort of pinky, bluey, sort of purpley, which I thought I could use, and then some weird things going on there. Quite like these, thought that was really interesting. So, there, that's not a bad page. Now I want to be, yeah, so you can look and see where you've got threads in books. I know there'll be some people going, what? You're cutting a book up? But yeah, I am. That's what I do. I am the book destroyer. So, thing is, nobody's going to use them as atlases because things change, borders change, countries change, and so a lot of things are out of date. Things that this is looking at is the use of the British Isles for agriculture. Well, that's going to have changed since 1963, I can assure you. So, yeah. So it's not up to date. That's pretty. I might take that. I might take that page. I think that's quite interesting. So, I'm not going to cut it completely, actually, because I might want to retain some of that. So let's cut this down. To 6.5 this way. We're keeping most of the page. Doing that. And then I've still got that strip for something. And then, how much bigger than 10 is it? It's about an inch. So we need to take about ½ inch off the top and the bottom. And that's grand. We keep most of the map. I mean, I could have took that margin off and then added a bit more of the map there, but that works for me. So that's that page from that book. A few scraps got. So let's look at the next book I wanted to look at. So I've got this book, Wildflowers of Canada, because it was impressions and sketches. I thought that'd be nice. £2.50, which it's Oxfam. Oxfam's more expensive. I like that sheet. That's quite nice. What I liked about this is the paper. So we've got these beautiful, beautiful drawings, and the paper texture is a little bit like watercolour paper. So, yeah, so I wanted one with purple in it. We've got purple there. And I think there's another purple that I was thinking about. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, see, lovely, lovely pictures. Absolutely stunning. I thought there was a bigger purple than that one. There. That one. That's the one I thought about. So I'm going to see where I can snip. Now, all that trouble, and then this one is actually, you get the odd ones that are glued. So this one is actually glued. There we go. I'll tear that bit. Nice plain sheet there for something. So I thought that would be nice. could do a pocket on this one. Didn't press too hard because sometimes go through the paper. So we got a bit of a pocket there. I will neaten that up. I wasn't going to, but actually looking at it, I will. So that's very nice. So I want to cut it down now. We want to cut it down there to 10, so we want to cut quite a bit off actually. I want to keep that bit there. So yeah, we'll take that off. And then we'll take that off. Yep. I'm going to use my bone folder. Quite thick paper. And we will because it's quite thick, so we'll have to take the bulk out of this crease here. So I just take long scissors and I'm just gonna snip from that corner a little sliver so that that pocket can go up, but we've taken the bulk out from the centre quite nicely. Might need to snip just a tiny bit there up to the crease. Wasn't quite enough. Yeah, marvellous. So that's that one. So my other book I was thinking of was this Pitman's typewriting book that had one of them in it. I've left it. This is, I was trying to date it. Did it have a date in it? I thought it was the 50s. 57 is the reprint date there. So it's quite old. But I've got shed loads. I bought another one the other day actually. But I quite liked the pages where you've got that look like letters, handwritten letters. So I thought as a bit of ephemera, they're quite nice. So although they're not original letters, they're still old in this book. I quite liked it. And has this one got shorthand? No, it's just got letters. The other one I've got is actually shorthand. It's a shorthand typing book, so it's got a little bit of the actual shorthand, which I like. Oh, I've got such a... So I quite liked... Oh, got a bit of ledger. I like a bit of ledger. I mean, it's not on the other side, so you've got like, even when they look like handwritten on the other side, it's not handwritten. That one's a letter there, because they're all exercises to follow. And you've got some instructions on the other side. Oh, there's some. There's some shorthand, which was what I was thinking of. What's on the other side of that shorthand? Oh, a letter. And do you know what else is going to be nice? It's going to have a ripped edge. Loving it. Loving it. So, and it's cut squiff. That ain't me. That's the way it's come out of the book. So it is actually 10 inches, so I could just fold this in half. It's too long, but not very much. So I could straighten it up actually. Another little interesting page like that. And then my last book is a ledger book. It's not massively old ledger book. It's from the 50s. There's only one little bit of writing in it. Yeah, 1950. All the rest of the pages are blank. But I thought it was an interesting ledger book. So yeah, I have been ripping out of it. Did I just randomly rip? Yeah, I think I did. So just going to rip a page. I thought the blue would go well with, so I'm going to keep that. That's 10 there. Take a little bit off the end there. I could actually take it up there. Nice bit of scrap. And we'll make a pocket. It's quite a large pocket, so I may well fold down as well. So that'll have to get cut out the middle as well. So what did I have? Oh, I've also got one of these. This is a pad I've got. It's supposed to be this way. It's another one of a ledger, but I have folded these in half before. I just think that makes a nice little interesting page. It's different size. Mine's going that way. That can be used. And then I did pick out some floral paper. But I think these were tattered lace magazines. And some of these sheets are quite nice. I think I used this in the other one for different bits. So just pick out a sheet and see how I may or may not use that. What I did in the other one was used it for pockets and the envelope flip out that I did. So that is what my thoughts are for those. So now we're going to put those together with the other ones and try and decide on an order and whether or not I've picked out too many. So got these. As I say, I may not use them all. So that might look nice. That bit of blue near it. And a little smaller one. I've got that blue paper. That's quite nice. Goes quite nicely with that one. Although actually that goes nicely with that. Just looking for some colour that may look good with it, as well as, oh, it's got two rip bits together. I might put it that way. that's how we're thinking so far. I'm going to print an old document on this. So I got that printed. I chose a document and tried to size it so that I wouldn't lose too much in the cutting it down to fit here. I went for one that's very like a ledger. So this is from the old design shop. I bought one of their digital sets that have lots and lots of documents in it. So they do have a nice old mixture. So that is all the papers that I wanted. And then what was I going to do with that? Possibly put it there, I think. Or was I going to put it in the centre? I might cut these flaps off. There we go. That's what I'm thinking. So we're going to do something on that side. I'm going to take these out for the moment. So in my original one, I added a little pocket there, which I can do. And we had a tag in there. I had a pocket to this side, which I might not do. I might use this on there and attach tag to it, because I like that page and I don't want it particularly messed up. So we'll add a tag under there and have that like that. We'll stick that up as a nice pocket. We can put a tag in. Could do some stenciling, quite liking that. Another pocket there. Lots and lots of journaling space, which what I had in this one. I quite like that. I might put the odd little corner tack, so I could put a little one of those in there. Could add some pockets, although it's quite thin. We've got a bag there. So I did add some paper to make pockets to some of these, which I might do. And then we've got our ledger. And then this one here. I might do something with them flaps. So that is what we're doing. So we need a few pockets, a few corner tucks, and some tags. And then we decorate the back as well. So again, don't particularly want the back decorated because I like what we've got there. So I could use the other one of those on the back. Something on there, but I added a flip and then a pocket underneath, which I quite like, and used some nice paper. So that's when I used some paper, maybe not that one, it's a bit busy, but I can find something that I can use to maybe have a little bit of an envelope flip there. That'll work. So I need to find some papers that I'm going to make pockets with. Okay, so I've found some naked tags that I made whilst on holiday. I found a 6x6 pad of paper, which I thought might come in useful. I found these papers from magazine, and I sort of went through and I sort of decided, and I had a couple of envelopes, and I sort of thought about where they might go. So these are my ideas. So there for the front page. I thought this was quite a good match for the colours in this sheet. So I thought I could use it on a tag that would tuck in there. Use some of it for a pocket there, maybe that one. And yeah, so that was my thoughts on that. Then this sheet, I thought that would make quite a nice pocket there with the doilies. I quite like the swirls, so that's a possibility there. I found this tag that was ready-made. I quite liked the idea about the fact that it was mostly women at this time that were doing shorthand and typing, and these might have met in a typing pool, and there they were, you know, at the seaside together. That was my thoughts. Quite like that there. Moving on through, found this. I quite liked that. I thought the colours went really well on there, so I'm thinking that I'll either make a tag with that, that's quite cool, or a pocket, not sure, but I popped it there. I need to split that. Didn't find anything else there, and part of what's on there will be used there. There we go. Another woman on a little outing who is in the same typing pool. It's probably not the same era if you look closely. If I make a pocket out of that sheet, I'll probably mirror it here, and I've got that same sheet here. And then I say I found a couple of envelopes. Excuse me, I'm really not much better. On the other one, I used a brown envelope, which that would go quite nicely on the back. But then I found this, and this is quite a thick envelope. And I can't even remember where this came from. Probably some junk that came through the mail. And there was a bit of me that thinking that I could use that because it's purple. They were some thoughts that I had, and actually I'm not even too bothered about what's printed on it. So that was a possible idea. The other possible idea I had was to maybe have it on the centre page. So I sew the signatures in, seal that up, but trim that, so I've got a little envelope pocket on the inside. Or I could do it with that one. That was a little thought. But yeah, undecided. I'm just terrible. Can't decide, nothing. Yeah, we'll see where we go from there. So if that's going to be a tag there, quite like these ones with a bit of music on there. So he'll tuck under there. Might trim him down a bit, and then we could use a bit of that on it. Obviously I need to distress that a bit, but that could be my tag there. Or that one, he's already cut down a little bit. That could be the back of the tag for writing on. Yeah. And then a little tag go in there. Yeah, so we need to decorate those too. And then I had a smaller tag in the wee pocket. Could do that. Right, that is what I'm thinking of doing there. So I just thought I'd do a little voiceover. I'm afraid I'm a little bit sniffly, so I'm just measuring there to do a pocket, and then I'm changing my mind that I wanted like a gusseted pocket. So I'm just scoring 1/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. So I've got a double thickness at the top, and then folded in around the other edges to make my pocket a little bigger. And I don't quite do the top quite well enough for my perfectionist side, so I snip a bit off. It's still double thick, and so then I'm just sticking it down with a bit of artless glue there, and then I'm measuring my tag. It is 2 inches wide. I thought I'd made it 2 inches wide so it fits my stamping up punches really well. I've got a couple of those tag topper punches that are really nice. And so then I'm just trying out some ideas of how to decorate it, and then I completely changed my mind and go for that nice paper, which is what I've decided to use across all the 3 tags that I end up using. I like that sheet of paper. I thought the colours went really well with the book page that I chose. So I'm doing a sort of a different style than normal. Got a sort of a neat bit on there. That stamp just happened to be on my desk, and I thought, oh, it's got a bit of purple in it. That'll be fine. Not quite the right colour. Found that lace trim. Got loads of it. Bought it in charity shop, and thought that might work well. Having a little bit of black in it is quite nice because of the blackness that's in the jelly printing that I did. So just doing a little bit of a collage there on the front of the pocket, sticking it down, and then I'm kind of going to do the same on the tags as well. So pulling out there some pre-made clusters that I'd done. You might have seen the videos there where I did like the Corey Damon style clusters with the strips, and also some Rachel style clusters where I made like a whole page in one go, and it's really handy to have those ready, and they just happen to have butterflies on them, which picked out some of the colours in the paper that I used, which was coincidental and fortunate, and it just shows how mass making things like those clusters actually is a real time saver when you're doing something like this, if you're fortunate enough to have the right colours, which I did. So just doing the usual bit of ink in, and I then decide to add a little bit of stamping as well, just to give it an extra layer, using my favourite stamp set at the moment, Ranunculus Romance, which I will link below the video. You buy my Stampin' Up shop, and just adding a few bits to that page as well, to give it a little bit of something else, and then just sort of finishing off there, gluing it all down together, and then just had to stop there for a cough. I thought I'd get through this voiceover without having to cough. I feel so much better today, but sadly not. So there I was trying out some of that lace on the top, and then remembered I had some black ribbon that I recently got. I can't remember where I got it from. I think it was a charity shop. So I decided to use some black satin ribbon instead. Thought that looked much better. And so then we've just got the final one to match up. I've only got a little strip left, but as it's covered in music paper, I thought I could get away with it. I add a bit of stamping to it, and then I decide, oh, it needs a little bit of something else. Let's add that little bit of lace that I cut off, and yeah, it just needs moving over a little tad to be done, and glue it down, and that's it done, and I think it all marries up really well together. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. So yeah, that's the beginning done. I think that works. I think that works well. I think those 3 tags are tied in well. Got me Rachel clusters, my Corey clusters. Always handy to have those things done, and then it didn't take quite so long. Like the way it goes with that paper. So yeah, think that is pretty cool. So I think I'm going to continue, and then I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so I've been through and I've chopped down paper, and I have used paper clips to paper clip in where things are going to go. And so I've got a load of, I bought Tracy Fox's tag fabrication kit, and I had some ready made, well, ready backed, not decorated or anything, and I thought the colours on that went quite well. First time I'd done that, I thought it might help me get a bit quicker if I've got some ready. So I've chopped that down so it's ready to go in there. I've got a tag there that I'm going to put in. I will be adding some decorations, but I just thought I'd show you how I went through. So I used the spare bit I had with this sheet, made a pocket. I liked that. It kind of went with the avocado dyed. I thought that was cool. Obviously I'm going to add to that tag, but just for quickness, put it in. This one I'll probably end up chopping down a little bit. It's a bit long for this journal, but I liked the way that the colours all went in with everything on that page. I made 2 tags out of this, and I've left it as that. Very unusual for me, but I really like just the way that looked. Used my favourite tag, Make a Punch. I still need something for in there. Again, another tag fabrication there. Still not convinced about this sheet here. I might end up taking it out and having that as my centre page, because I'm just not happy. So, or I might chop it down and have it as a smaller bit. That's a possibility. But there, I've got 2 tags there. That one, I might have to chop that one down a bit, but quite like the fact they got bits of blues in that went well. These will be stenciled on. And I might just, because that's like a whole selection of blues, I might just stick that back there. Then I've still got it as an interesting sheet. Yeah, I think might do that. That's the other one of those tags. That's the same. Another tag in there. I stuck another one in there. I might end up taking that one out because it might be quite bulky, because actually I really like the colours of that with that. We'll see in the final mix. Got one there. Put 2 little ones in there. And then on the back here, I've got a tag there, and I went back to that watercolour book and I ripped that out, and I thought that went nicely on the back there. I made an envelope in the Corey Damon style, taking a square. She's got a video on it. I have done it before in videos, so that'll have a little bit of something in there. I've used one of my tickets. I'll have to decorate. I'll probably decorate in the same way as that. I made that tag in much the same way as I made the ones on the front. It needs a little bit of decoration. Got that little tag as well to add. So that's going to get stuck down there on 3 sides in there. And that's my little envelope ready to go in. And I'll probably, well, not probably, I will put some paper on the inside to line it so it looks a little bit interesting. And then I'll just shove something in there and something in there. So that is what is left to do. Because there's lots of pockets that need adding, their paper needs sewing in first before I can add them, because obviously you've got your protrusion. Now you could leave it, and some people do, but it's my perfectionist bit of me. I like it to be a bit neater. I mean, some people put bits of ribbon and stuff along the ends, in which case it doesn't really matter, but I don't. So I kind of like my paper to be trimmed, so as I know where everything's going, I can in fact do that now, is organise my pages and sew the signature in so that I can then splice them and get my pocket stuck down. Actually, what I want to do, I can't do that. Backtrack. I want to sew some around some pages. So actually, I'm just going to have to try and splice them without it being sewn. So we're going to have to be a little bit clever here. So this I know is a bit that some people find quite daunting. Now the only thing I'm going to take off is that. Oh, I don't think I've got another one there. I'm going to move these paper clips to the bottom. And that doesn't want to be on the edge. I still want to sort of know that that's going in there. That's not on the edge. You would need to do things like, well, I'm not sewing, so it doesn't really matter. So these need to make sure they're not on the edge. That there doesn't want to be on the edge, so I'm going to move that in, because that would be cut if it was on the edge. That one, I'll just move it in. I'll leave that, then that will just get naturally just come off. They're okay, they're not on the edge. I don't want to remove them all because then I'll forget where they're going. Okay, there we go. That one needs to go in, otherwise I'll slice off a bit of that tag. Now I could have sewn it for, I just personally like to sew after it's all on. I've done it the other way where I've sewn in and then added decoration. I think the first one I did that, and I just find it's much easier to decorate pages when they're flat, especially if you then decide you're going to sew around your pages. There we go. So they're all where I want them to go. So what I do is I need bulldog clips and a bit of a ruler. So let me use my ruler. And just sort of tap it down like that, and then I want to clip top and bottom. Now they might go in a wee bit more when you sew, but it'll be close enough, I reckon, for it to look okay. So that is where I want to trim down. And then I get my glass mat, so you might see a little bit of glare. Okay, check I'm still filming. I've got a metal ruler here. I'm going to use this as my line. I often use the lines on here to line up as well. Glasses I find very useful when you can't see, and I use my knife, and you just want to stroke it down and take a bit off at a time and not try and get through it all. So I'm just stroking along there very gently. so it's going through all the layers. Not looking for perfection, I'm looking for something passable. Make my net a bit longer. There we go. There's something sticking there. And so this is a slightly scary step, but there we go. That is the way that I do that. And so now, got no protrusion. Some of the ends, some of the pages might have been cut in a way that they're slightly a rough edge, but I could clean that up with a trimmer if I so wished, or leave it if I'm not bothered. The problem with this one was I left all the tags in. So, you know, if you do this before you put all the tags in, it's much easier. I was just going through it that way. So there we have it. That is how I sort that bit out. So I'm going to glue my pockets down. So on this page, for instance, I need to take that bulk out of the centre, and I can either glue or I can stitch. So I'm just going to show you on one, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the others. So I'm just going to put a small bead of glue down each side of my pocket. And give that, stick that down. So that's nice and secure there. Same on this side. So I'll do that, and then I'm trying to keep everything together. On this one, we've now got that can now just be sewn around the edges. So that will be what's sewn, glued. So that's just going to get glued on the three sides, leaving one side open for the tuck. And the other thing I'm going to do is a bit of stenciling as well, because that gives a nice feature. So what I'll do is I'll get a stencil and stencil on there. So this is my favourite stencil for doing sort of vintage looking things. I'm gonna just remove this, it will make it easier. Just take a section and just add a little cement. Might even do a bit on the pocket. So it just adds a little extra element of interest there. Obviously you're not going to see both sides. This is going to be in there, and that'll just be like that on that pocket in there. And that needs trimming down a little bit. So there are a few tags that do need trimming down a little bit, and although it's got stitching along the bottom, I don't think it matters. I'm just going to take that bottom bit off. Check that will now fit in. Yep, that now slides in. Lovely. So I'm just going to ink now. Now I could add some stitching in. I've got some stitching stamp. I might take that one. I'm going to use early espresso on that because it's dark. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom. So there's a few that I'm going to be cutting off, and I think this is how I'm going to deal with that. Take it off, and then I've just added some stitching back there, which is fine. That works for me. Quite happy with that. So that's that done. I will probably add some decoration to the front of that. So I'm going to do that in all of these. Some I'm going to stitch round. Definitely thinking that I'll stitch round this one because it's in the middle and it'd be nice. And I've got a top tuck as well, so I could shove things in there if I wanted to, but my intention is to stitch round all of this one, and I will also need to take some bulk out of this one. So that just means that that signature can get sewn in and there's not so much bulk there in the corner. I'll probably ink around this as well. So that is that all inked, all sewn and ready for in there. I chopped that down to fit in there. Might have to do it a little bit more, to be fair. And that is that. So I'm going to carry on do those, and then I'll show you how it looks when I've finished. Okay, so I've been through and I've done all the stenciling and everything, and so now I've taken out a few of the tags. It's time to sew the signature into the cover. So I decided to film sewing in the signatures in a separate video. I'll link that down below if you wish to see that. It is something that I've done quite often, so I'm just going to put it out there as a separate video, sewing in the signatures. So now I'm going through and I am decorating the tags using my ready-made clusters that I've done in videos before, just picking them out, ones that match, and doing some stenciling and adding sort of cheesecloth. So I'm going to carry on doing that, and then I'll show you everything when it's finished, and then we'll do this back page together. So I have decided the video is long enough. I'm going to do the envelope flip and the fastening in the front in a final video, and then I can do flip through in that one as well. And so I'm going to leave that one there. So do check out the final part, and check out the one where I sew the signatures in, and the one where I made the cover if you haven't seen those. Okay, thanks for joining me. Sorry it's been long. I have been a bit poorly. Feeling much better now though. This has taken 2 days. So yeah. Okay, see you all again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.